Welcome in. This is Ricky's Mailbag, where I take your Phillies questions, answer them to the best of my ability, and try to have some fun with it. I want you to like and subscribe over here. Also, you can catch myself, Bill Colarola, and Silvana Kelleher, all on Unfiltered, 2 to 6, Monday through Friday, 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia. Here with Dylan McKinnon. Here we go to kick it off.
Yeah, Jamie asks, what is wrong with Aaron Nola?
Wow, is that a loaded question? Let me start by saying this. Aaron Nola before the IL stint and Aaron Nola after the IL stint is the same guy. He's making mistakes out over the middle of the plate when he gets men on base, obviously giving up the home runs like he was doing early on in the season. But I think to go a little deeper than that, it has nothing to do with velocity. As a matter of fact, his velocity kind of has spiked. He's up a couple miles an hour since he's come back. That's just rest. I mean, in all honesty, I think you have that much time off and you give your arm a rest and all of a sudden you come back, you find a little bit of extra fire. It's location. I mean, let me take that Brewers game that he just pitched. You know, you look at him in the first inning, I mean, 5 pitches in, he's already walked a guy. I mean, that's not Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola is a guy that's usually pretty pinpoint on both sides of the plate. I always talk like this, that here's the plate, and you stay out of that middle third. If you're on the outer third, you're fine. You're on the inner third, you're fine, as long as it's not down into a lefty. You put yourself into good shape. But I think the walks are starting to hurt him a little bit. And then it's always a mistake. You make a mistake out over the middle of the plate. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're, Joe Schmo coming up from the minor leagues. You throw a pitch over the middle of the plate, you're going to get hit hard. So I think Aaron Nola right now has got to find his pinpoint accuracy, because usually when he is good, it's all about late movement within the strike zone. And that means you might throw a sinker that looks like it's going to be inside. All of a sudden you get that late little jolt and it's on the inside corner or the outside corner of the plate. We haven't seen a lot of that. And a lot of people say, well, he's settling in after the first inning. You know what? The damage is already done. You got to settle in the bullpen and then get yourself ready to pitch when you step out on the field. So I think with Aaron Nola, I think it really just comes down to location, and he's got to be able to hit his spots. The other thing is his curveball. He's throwing loopy curveballs right now. And what I mean by that is it comes out of his hand and it's just kind of rolling. You don't have that really sharp jetting break on it. And I think he's got to get that back too. And that's all about finishing. That has nothing to do with anything else except for finishing on the baseball.
Okay.
All right, Dill.
Okay, next question, very much a similar one. What is wrong with Orion Kerkering?
Huh. Number one, he throws too many of those sweepers. You know what? Every time I think of him, I think back to that first day that he came up to the big leagues. And JT's answer, I believe he threw 23 pitches that night. 20 of them were sweepers. And to me, that's not what pitching is about. Pitching is about using your weapons in the right way. That's not using your weapons in the right way. When you throw slider after slider after slider, the guy throws 97, 98 miles an hour with late movement. How about using that? How about having a fastball as your primary pitch and being able to put people away with your sweeper? That way you don't have to put it on the plate. I think with Orion Kerkering, he's also getting into some trouble with his command right now. But I think it's pitch selection more than anything else with Orion Kerkering. I think he's got a tremendous arm. He's got 2 good pitches. Use them correctly, and he wouldn't be in this state right now.
Okay, Anthony asks, have your views on the Harrison Bader trade changed since they made it?
Yeah. You know what? I wasn't sure why Harrison Bader was the call. I did understand that he's a veteran. He's had plenty of postseason knowledge. And he's just one of those guys who can go out there and get a job done. Did I think he would kind of move himself to the forefront of this team? No, I didn't. The one thing he has showed, and this is straight out, I'm going to say it, he should be the everyday center fielder, which I think Rob Thompson has also come to that here in the last week or so, that he realizes that defensively the guy gets tremendous jumps. He covers gap to gap. And why is that important? Well, when you're getting a good jump and you're covering ground, that means you're going to be in good position to catch a lot of baseballs that would more or less go for doubles when Rojas was here or when a different center fielder is out there. He gets the jumps. He's got good speed. He can catch the ball. and it makes the other outfielders, the right fielder, the left fielder, they don't have to cover as much ground now. So, in all honesty, they could actually cover the lines, whether it be 10 more feet to the line. At least they're covering more ground because Bader could cover so much ground in the outfield and he gets good jumps. So, I think he's a bonus guy out there. I think he's one of those guys that could do pretty much anything. As for his hitting, look, he swings hard. He is a right-handed, hard-swinging Bryce Harper because that's what he does. I mean, he gets the barrel through the zone, and lately he's been hitting the ball on the barrel. When you do that, yeah, you're going to come up big. And he's been a real positive influence on this team. And I think the one thing you'll hear from a lot of the players is his energy. Brings energy every single day he comes to the ballpark. And when you're able to do that, that kind of it kind of exudes to everybody else in that clubhouse. So if somebody's a little down that day, he brings in that energy. It completely changes their attitude. So I think it's a great thing to have him on the team right now.
Phil asked, is Ranger Suarez officially back from his earlier struggles?
Yeah, I think he is. Ranger, when you think about it, his first start was awful. And then he figured something out there, and he was really good for about 10 straight starts. And then he hit kind of a little brick wall. I just think, I mean, for him, it's all about he lost a little bit velocity. He was down about over 2 miles an hour at one point. And when you don't throw that hard, if your accuracy isn't perfect, you're going to get hit around. That's what Ranger ran into. He started leaving the ball out over the middle of the plate, and he started getting hit around a little bit. And then, just to make things worse, he was walking players before he would give up a big hit. Now, all of a sudden, he's back to where he wants to be. His most important pitch is to a right-handed hitter, that sinker in on the hands. If he gets ahead with that, that means nobody's going to lean out over the plate and go get his changeup on the outside corner. And the other thing is that I think one of his best pitches is actually not a strike. I think it's that changeup when he throws the changeup on the outside corner and it fades off of the plate. What a hitter sees is a ball coming as a strike, so they're already committed to swinging. Next thing you know, that pitch is off the plate and they're swinging through pitches, or they're a little off balance and they hit a little ground ball, which is why Ranger gets so many ground ball outs on top of it. So, I think he's done with his struggles right now.
Okay, Howard asks, who would you trust the most as the Game 3 starter? Nola, Luzardo, or Walker?
I'm going Luzardo right now. I haven't seen anything from Aaron Nola where it kind of pumps me up a little bit, where you say, oh, that's the guy I need to see. That's the guy that kind of brings everything to this game. Taijuan Walker, kind of been struggling a little bit lately. And this is a guy that's had a really nice season for the Phillies, but he's actually pretty high on innings. Since, I believe, 2023, he hasn't been this high. So I think that might be hindering him a little bit. I also think when that happens and you start to lose velocity because your arm and your body gets a little bit tired, you tend to leave pitches up in the zone. So I'm going with Luzardo. I think Luzardo has turned back around also. I think he went into that little rut, as did Ranger Suarez. But I think Luzardo has come out of it. I know a lot of people would say, well, Luzardo would be great in the bullpen. You know what? They got enough guys in the bullpen, okay? Because if you're going to the playoffs and you're worried about 2 innings out of the bullpen and you don't have anybody, you have problems, okay? If you're worried about guys who are going to pitch a 5th, 6th inning, it's pretty much because the game is already over and somebody scored a ton of runs already. That's what you would be worried about there. I just think you're in a situation right now where Luzardo has to do it. I don't think that's how it's gonna work, because I think Rob Thompson is gonna pitch Aaron Nola somewhere in there to break up the left-handed pitchers. That's what I think.
Okay, and then finally, Rick asked, do you worry about complacency if they clinch the NL East too early?
No. I think this team has a thought process of, we want to win the World Series. And the one thing you have to do there, if you clinch early, you just kind of sit back and you get your rest when Rob Thompson gives you some rest. But make sure you're still working on your at-bats. Make sure you're staying fundamentally sound. Make sure you're still practicing. I don't think this team is blind to that. I think they're going to go out, they're going to take care of business, and I think they're going to be ready this year. I would say last year they were not ready for the New York Mets when they had to play them, and the Mets kicked them right in the butt. So it's one of those things where these guys know where they should be when the season ends. So I think they have that desire this year. All right, want you to like and subscribe over here. Also, you can catch myself, Bill Colarulo, Silvana Kelleher, all on Unfiltered, 2 to 6, Monday through Friday, 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia. Thanks for watching Unfiltered on YouTube. You could like and subscribe down here. You could also see our other shows over here. Go ahead and watch them all. We love when you watch. The one thing, hey, you could also catch us on 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia. See you there.